I know you're in the divot, but it's time for me to film my autumn TBR. She doesn't want to move. Who is she? It's the cat, it's Dappy. Look at her. You don't want to move, do you? Am I that person? Am I going to rearrange where I filmed my videos for that long, just so my cat can lay here and have the luxurious life she deserves? Yes, I am that person. So, let me, where shall I sit? Let me arrange and then we'll talk autumn TBRs. It's excited, it's autumn. There we go. It's an unusual angle for me. I don't normally film off-centre for a booktube video, but here I am, and welcome to another booktube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. And Daphne from Daphne's the most special girl in the world. It's true. I am here today to talk autumn TBRs, the books that I would like to read in autumn. So I've done quite well actually, because this is where my TBR for the month goes, and I've just cleared away the remnants of the summer TBR, of which I didn't really get through much, if I'm being honest. I read quite a lot of books from the library. I did a summer reading project, which is I've still got a book and a half of that summer reading project left, whereby I read through a book from every decade, from the 1900s to the present day, with a different female author. And yeah, I really enjoyed doing it. It meant I read a lot of books from my shelf, which was lovely, because it meant I could fit a lot more books onto my shelf. And yeah, I'm going to be doing something similar in autumn, in October. Similar but not the same. That's what similar means, isn't it? So here I am to talk you through the books that I will be reading in autumn. Would love to hear what books you're planning on reading in autumn, what type of books you like to read in autumn. I think we're about to see that there's a vibe I've got for my autumn reading. I think we'll just start with one book that has made its way from the summer TBR onto the autumn TBR, because I absolutely must read it, and that's Rules of the Heart by Janice Hadlow. This is the author of The Other Bennet Sister, which is a book that I read a while ago. I hate these controllers being in the picture. Which is a book I read when I was on holiday in the Forest of Dean with my husband, and had a beautiful time reading it. It's told from the perspective of Mary Bennet. It's a retelling of Pride and Prejudice, and it tells sort of before Pride and Prejudice, during Pride and Prejudice, and after Pride and Prejudice, and it really, really, really felt like an Austen book. I've actually revisited since by listening to the audiobook, and I adored it, and they're making it into a BBC adaptation, so I'm so excited about that. It's got Ella Broccoleri, who I've seen, well, who was in Called the Midwife, but has also been in other wonderful things that I've seen. So yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to that coming out. I don't know when that's coming out, but I'm excited. But this is her new book, which came out in August, maybe? Yeah, 21st of August. And this is called Rules of the Heart. I mean, of course, she's moved. we stay where we are. Yeah, Rules of the Heart. And it's about Lady Henrietta Bessborough, who seemingly has it all. She's wife to a lord and sister to a duchess, and she's welcomed in the most fashionable circles, yet she yearns for something her marriage has failed to offer: true love. And when she meets the captivating Lord Granville, 12 years her junior and a famous heartbreaker, she at first dismisses his advances as opportunistic flattery, but then she sees another side to him, a side she realises she cannot resist. As she plunges into an all-consuming affair, Henrietta finds herself torn between her duty and her deepest desires. For in a world where appearances are everything, each anxious but besotted step she takes leads her ever closer to scandal and ruin. So yes, I've high hopes for this, and I'm sort of pleased I didn't get to this in summer. I added it to my summer TBR because when Pam Macmillan sent it to me, I was like, yes please. But I think autumn to me is historical fiction and classics and some sort of middle grade and things like that, which you were about to see all of those things. So yes, I think this will be a great book. Truck reversing outside. There we go, first one. Oh, maybe we'll build these up and you'll be able to see the big pile as we go. Can you hear that truck reversing outside? Next off, I think we'll go to book club books. So I am part of 3 book clubs now. Wow. That's escalated. The first one is the book club that I run on Patreon. It's always linked down below if you would like to go and check it out. And we sort of picked the themes for the rest of the year. The book that we're reading in September, we always meet on the last Sunday of the month. And the theme was classics. We had a lot of people. I take suggestions of themes from the people in the club, and then I sort of maybe tweak them a little bit, or merge them maybe with another theme. And this theme was classics with themes of social class, and the winner of that was North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell, which is one that has appeared on various TBRs. Like, I'm sure this was on my autumn TBR last year, but guess what? I've got to read it this year because it's a book club book. I read this, well, no, I didn't. I studied this when I was in sixth form. In UK, I don't even know if this is what the school system works like anymore, but in the UK, my sixth form education, my further education, was split into year 12 and year 13. And year 12 you did an AS level, and year 13 you did an A level. And for AS level I studied, for English literature, I studied Hard Times by Charles Dickens, which I must reread at some point. I really enjoyed reading that book at school. And then for A level I studied North and South, and then we did a sort of comparison on the two, because they're both sort of like industrial novels, themes of social class, etc., written around at a similar time. And I didn't read North and South, or at least I definitely didn't finish it. And yeah, I've been meaning to read it for a really long time. So this is about Margaret Hale, who moves from rural southern England to the turbulent northern mill town of Milton, and takes an instant dislike to the dirt and noise that seem to characterise her new home and its inhabitants, even the handsome and charismatic Hotton mill owner John Thornton. But as she begins to settle in, events conspire to throw her and Thornton together. Amidst the chaos of industry and unrest, they must learn to overcome the prejudices of class and circumstance and admit their feelings for one another. It says here, one of literature's greatest romances, here for a romance. It's both an incisive social commentary and an electric portrayal of all-conquering love. It is long. I mean, this is a tiny little lovely, gorgeous Macmillan's collector's edition. But yeah, it's over 600 pages. And girl needs to read it before book club, so very excited about that one. Oh, and then next month, so if you wanted to join that book club, like I said, everything's down below. And then October's theme, I've merged two themes. So people wanted to read memoir, and it's also UK Black History Month here in the UK. So the two books that were up for the vote were two memoirs by Black British women. One was by Diane Abbott, who was the first Black British MP elected, and the other one was by Charlene White, who is a broadcaster, and it's about her life, and the Charlene White one won. So if you would like to join in for either of those, please do go down below. And then Christmas is coming up, so that'll be exciting. We have a Christmas book club in December. It started as a Christmas book club, and then in November the theme is normally books that we read for my birthday, so my favourites. But I think this year we're going to do books I think will be good, which has been a successful theme before. So yeah. Right, okay, so other book clubs. I'm also in a book club at my choir. It's very relaxed, and we meet sort of at the beginning of the term and at the end of the term. We met yesterday to discuss the beginning of the term book, which was Big Swiss, which I ended up DNFing. Got halfway through and I was just like, I just can't cope with this. I've just got no interest. It's a real slog to get through it, and I'm just not connected to it at all. So I gave up on that. But the book we'll be reading at the end of the term, and I tried to go for something slightly Christmassy, is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. You might be able to see this. This is my well-worn Penguin cloth-bound classics edition. You can see, look, where I read it so much, the scissors have started fading off. But yeah, I thought this would be a good choice because it is Christmassy without being sort of super quick. Well, there's parts of it set at Christmas, so we'll be reading this and for the end of the term, and this will be a reread for me. It's a book I really, really love, and it does feel Christmassy to me. It's one of those sort of like Christmas without Christmas feelings, like magically vibes. And my favourite film of all time is the Greta Gerwig Little Women, so I will definitely be watching that. And also the older one as well, which has got like Claire Danes and people in it. Yeah, I will be immersing myself in Little Women. A little bit like Little Women. Do you remember when I did that? So there we go. Choir book club. Excuse me. The last book club that I'm part of is a book club that I've recently joined. It is at my local library, and it's a Women's Institute book club, and I was in there one day browsing and I heard people talking about books, and I said to the librarian, what's going on over there? And she said, oh, it's the Women's Institute book club. And I said, oh, do they take in members? And she said, go and have a chat with them. And I sort of leapt around the corner and they were all very taken aback because I was like, hi, I heard you talking about books. Would you take on another member? And I've been 3 times now, and yeah, I'm glad they're taking me in. They're taking me in, and I've also recently started volunteering at the library, so that I'm able to make teas and coffees for that group and other groups, and yeah, that was really nice because I did that for the first time this week. And the book we're reading next month, which I'm really excited about, and was sort of they asked me for book recommendations, and I just said, please, let's read a Daphne du Maurier book, because they're all ladies in their sort of 70s and 80s. And I'm sure they will love Daphne du Maurier. Well, a lot of them already do love Daphne du Maurier. And the book we're going to be reading is Frenchman's Creek, which is one of the first Daphne du Mauriers I read many years ago and have never revisited. And I remember it being quite sort of like jovial, and it's a romance, and I remember it being good fun. So I'm looking forward to revisiting this, and this will be the book that we're just discussing in October. Further exciting news is that we sort of pick the book that will be happening the following month, and the following month in November we'll be reading a Ken Follett book, which is an author I've meant to read for a very long time. He is sort of a historical epic writer. Every book I've seen of his are massive, and they're all in series normally. Now this one, I think it's called Never, and this is a standalone book, and I'm really excited for the opportunity to get round to reading a bit of Ken Follett, which I've been meaning to do for ages, and I just haven't got round to it. So there we go. Book club books, book club plans for the autumn. It's looking good. I'm excited about it. Right, now let's go to the book project I've got planned. Do I show you these books? I don't know that I'm going to. So, like I mentioned earlier, I did a summer reading project. Big loud van, loads of big loud vans today. I did a summer reading project where I worked through the decades and read a different female author from each decade, and I love doing that. And like I said, it really helped me get some stuff off my shelves, and it was really nice to interact. It was all over on Instagram. It was really nice to like interact with new readers over on Instagram and bring a few people over to this channel. Hi. And yeah, I want to do it again. I want to do it again twice, really, because I'd quite like to do it again at Christmas time and read, I'll be reading lots of Christmassy books, but read 4 Christmas books over Christmas, and maybe even release the books so that we can read them together. But I also wanted to do it over Halloween, because I've got quite a lot of witchy books on my shelves, and I am going to tell you the books. I'm going to tell you the books. They'll be going over on Instagram as well, but I'll tell you the books. So I picked 4 witchy books off of my shelves, and yeah, we're going to get round to reading them, and I'll be reviewing them on Instagram every Sunday around tea time, and then telling the people the next one and reading them. So yeah, these are witchy books off my shelf. So we've got Witches Steeped in Gold by Sian Smart. I won't go, Dappy! Chewing ribbon. No! I'm going to have to stop. She's being very naughty, David.
Who is?
This cat.
No, I don't believe it.
First of all, I had to move. Daphne, she's for some reason.
You what?
I had to move because she was there. So I'm filming this at this awkward angle, and now she's chewing all the ribbon. Can you go and tell her to stop, please? Please.
Right, Dappy, I wouldn't stop you. But Mummy says you have to.
Mummy says.
Mummy says.
Sorry, so I won't go into the blurbs of the Witches books, but Witches Steeped in Gold by Sian Smart. This is a new release. This is Dangerous Girls by Lisa M. Sylvan. Then we've got 2 second in the series, but I'll be revisiting the Hedgewitch series. So this is Woodwitch by Skye McKenna. This is the second book to the Hedgewitch book that I read last year, and I'm going to revisit that via audio before I go into Woodwitch. And then I've got Garlic and the Witch by Bree Paulson, which is second in the series too. I can't remember what the first one's called. Something about the witch. Vampire and the Witch might be. But yeah, so those are the 4 books that I will be reading for the witchy project over October over on Instagram. These 2 would probably be best to next tell you about. So like I said, I'm going to be revisiting Hedgewitch, which is the first in the Skye McKenna series. I'm going to listen to the audiobook of that, and then I've also got Seawitch, which is the newest release. It came out last year in hardback, and I will be reading that as well. I do think autumn is a time for sort of children's books. Oh, that links in quite well with this as well. So the next one is a reread, and it's Pages & Co, Tilly and the Book Wanderers by Anna James. And I've been meaning to revisit this because I have listened to the audiobook of this when it first came out, which was, good God, years ago. 2019, pre-COVID. As soon as I see 2019, I think pre-COVID. And I listened to the audiobook and I loved it. It's about Tilly, who goes book wandering in her grandparents' bookshop, where she goes into different stories, and one of the places she spends a lot of time is in the Anne of Green Gables world. And when I first read this, I hadn't read Anne of Green Gables, and now I've read it and it's one of my faves. So it'd be really nice to go back to this and then revisit the whole series. And also it'd be nice to read the book, because I listened to the audiobook last time and it's got some beautiful illustrations and loveliness about it. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to going into that again. And I mean, bookshops are all year round places, but they feel autumnal as well, don't they? So there we go, another. It's getting big, isn't it? Then I've got, actually with autumn in the title, Verona in Autumn by Tom Lloyd. And this is a retelling, well, a sequel really, of Romeo and Juliet. A pair of star-crossed lovers destined to die but saved by a quirk of fate. A pair of great houses never compelled by grief to end their grudge. A city doomed to suffer under a bloody 20-year feud. A family charged with returning to the city of their birth and restoring its glory. Verona in Autumn, a sequel of sorts, is one of the most famous stories ever told. And yeah, it's a sequel of Romeo and Juliet. So yeah, we will go for that. And I think it opens with the drugs having not worked. Oh, spoilers for the end of Romeo and Juliet. So there we go. Then I've got a book that I bought in the summer, and I need to read. I need to be brave about it. So this is The Story of a Heart by Rachel Clark, which was the winner of the Women's Prize for Non-Fiction this year. And when I was reading the long list, and I read so many books off the long list this year and loved many of them, really enjoyed a lot of the non-fiction. It was such a joy to read so much great page-turnery non-fiction at the beginning of the year when the long list came out in February. But this one always frightened me because I knew it would upset me deeply, and then it went on to win. And it feels insane that I'd read so many books off that long list and enjoyed so many of them and yet hadn't read the winner. When it came out in paperback and I was in Waterstones, in Southend in fact, it was buy one get one half price, and I was like, well, I've simply got to get this, haven't I? So this is The Story of a Heart, and it's about a heart being donated from one child to another child when that child obviously dies. And yeah, a girl, a boy and a heart they share. And it also explores the sort of history of remarkable like medical advances and things like that. And yeah, I've heard so many good things about it, so be brave, read it, but I just know it's going to really upset me, and a lot of people have said it is very upsetting, so, but I'm sure it is absolutely wonderful. And then I've got a book that Philippa bought me, Philippa from Quick Book Reviews, which is an amazing podcast that you should definitely go and listen to. If you like your book reviews quick and spoiler free, then she is the place to be. And she does a whole host of amazing interviews. She's most recently interviewed Dan Brown about his new book, and yeah, I mean, I'm biased because she's my pal and we do another podcast together, but it's a great podcast for book reviews, and recently topped the book podcast charts, which was so lovely. And anyway, there's me going on about her. So every year she kindly has me on for the Christmas episode, whereby we talk about what Christmas books we're looking forward to reading that year. We've done it for about 5 years now, and always afterwards she and here's me saying this, if you're watching this video, don't feel obliged to do it every year, but it's always such a treat. She sends me a few books afterwards to say thank you for doing that. In fact, one of them was Pages & Co by Tilly and the Book Wanderers, and then she's also sent me the Betrayal of Thomas True by A.J. West. I mean, Spreages alert. And yeah, she was very excited about it. It is historical fiction, and like I said, autumn is historical fiction time for me. It's set in 1715. It says Thomas True has arrived on Old London Bridge, not an old London Bridge, on Old London Bridge, with a dangerous secret. One night, lost amongst the squalor of London's hidden back streets, he finds himself drawn into the outrageous underworld of the Molly houses. Meanwhile, carpenter Gabriel Griffin struggles to hide his double life as Lottie, the Molly stoic guard. When a young man is found murdered, he realises there is a rat amongst them, betraying their secrets to a pair of murderous justices. Can Gabriel unmask the traitor before they hang? Can he save hapless Thomas from peril and their own forbidden love? Set amongst the buried streets of Georgian London, The Betrayal of Thomas True is a brutal and devastating thriller where love must overcome evil and the only true sin is betrayal. It really sounds great. It sounds like a real page turner, and it's got everything thrown in there in terms of like, it's a thriller, it's historical, there's romance. Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be great. And those, I can't stop looking at these peacock feather spreads. So there we go, there's another one to add to it. Up it goes. And then the last one is a series, one of which I've read the first book in the series. I've read When Hitler Stole Pink Rabbit by Judith Kerr. It's actually the 50th, this is the 50th anniversary edition that I got a few years ago. When was this published? This was published in 1971, so I got this in 2021. And yeah, this is Judith Kerr's memoir as a child. Well, it's so it's a story, but it's inspired by her own experiences of her having to leave Germany during the war. And this is retold via the character of Anna having to leave Germany in 1933. And yeah, it's great. I loved it. It's cozy, it's readable, it's wonderful. And I didn't realise, but there's 2 sequels to it, which is wonderful. And my friend and yours, Jen Campbell, sent me the 2 books for Christmas. I don't even think it was last year. I think it might have been the year before. And I've been meaning for an opportunity to just indulge in them. And I think maybe I'll take a week or a wet weekend or something and just have a lovely time with them. So I need to work out what order they go in. So When Hitler Stole Pink Rabbit is first. And then we've also got A Small Person Far Away, the classic family story of escape and refuge, and Bombs on Aunt Dainty. I mean, I think maybe this will tell me which order they go in. Oh, so Bombs on Aunt Dainty is the next one, and then A Small Person Far Away. Yeah. So yes, I'm looking forward to getting around to that. I really, really hope that does happen. So there we go. I mean, it feels exciting. It feels thrilling. And yeah, there'll be lots I've got so many books out from the library. Also, a plus of now volunteering at the library means my reservations at the library are free. So there's going to be a lot of library reading going on over the autumn as well, because there always is library reading going on. Wonderful. So let me know what books you plan to read in autumn. Let me know if you've read any of these guys. Let me know the types of books you love to read in autumn. I put on my bestest autumn outfit that wouldn't make me too hot because it's still quite warm, in that I'm wearing burgundy and a lovely embroidered long sleeve shirt for you. So I hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, I'll see you all again soon for another booktube video. Goodbye!